Hi everybody. As you can see, the Christmas spirit has arrived at the Walker household. But as I was getting dressed this morning, getting ready, made my coffee and waiting for my son to wake up, because he's always the first to wake up, I started perusing the internet and I ran across this article and subsequently this video talking about bicycle syndrome. And so it intrigued me. So I started to dig a little deeper. And what I discovered was that this phenomenon called bicycle syndrome was started or perpetuated in the late 1800s. And what it was that women started to become very interested and involved in riding bicycles, because the design had changed and it was much easier to maneuver and get around. And so women became they loved to ride their bicycle. And so what happened was that there started to be a concern for women riding these bicycles. And so what was developed was this bicycle syndrome. And what it caused, I'm going to read it here, was bulging eyes, jutting chin, flushed or pale face, tired expression, drawn lips, dark circles under your eyes, a hard or clenched jaw. So it was a very unbecoming expression or syndrome that you would develop if you rode your bike too much. And so this started to infiltrate throughout society. And essentially what it was a scare tactic for women to stop riding their bikes. Well, why was that? That's because bikes and bicycles had now given women a sort of freedom that they didn't have before, in that they could go faster and further and easier and maneuver around society faster and easier than they had ever before. So that led me thinking, and it has often been equated to something we call imposter syndrome. Now, if you are a high achieving woman and you have ever been in a room where you were unfamiliar or uncertain of what you were doing, you may have felt this anxiety, this I don't belong here, what am I doing here, how did I get here, which has now been labeled imposter syndrome. And that was developed by a psychologist, I think in 1978 was when it was first coined, to give a definition or a term to these feelings. It was specifically geared towards or designed around high achieving women. So again, what is imposter syndrome and why has it been labeled? So there's many times, as we know, is particular for women, young women, that we step into a field or a room and we are surrounded by men who seem to know more than we do, or who maybe have been in the field longer than we have. And so we become riddled with anxiety and self-doubt. And that is what imposter syndrome is. But like bicycle face and imposter syndrome, these are terms that are there to hold women down, to hold women back, to make you feel that you don't belong. And I want to let you know that you do belong, that you are smart enough, you are bright enough, you are ambitious enough, and you deserve to be in that room. You have to remember that because we as women, or possibly minorities, are in the room, they may feel this as well, that you bring a unique perspective. My perspective as a white woman is very different than my husband's, who is an African American male. We have different experiences, we have different life experiences, we were raised very differently, not in the fact that our social economical background isn't similar, but I do not have experience as a black man in the United States, and he does not have experience as a white woman in the United States. And so his perspective, his ideas, and what he brings to the table is very different than my perspectives. And that's not wrong. They're just different perspectives. So whenever you start to feel that you don't belong, or that people in the room have more experience than you, their ideas are better, I want you to think about this bicycle face and how ridiculous it sounds that you can become ill or have bulging eyes or all these things that are created to make you feel like you don't belong in that space, because you do belong in that space. Anyway, that's my message for the day. I hope you have a wonderful Thanksgiving if you celebrate, and a break, and you're able to relax with family. Remember, this is a time, hopefully, of giving thanks and reflecting on the things that you have in your life that are good. And you have a wonderful day. Thank you.